Hello and welcome back to Higurashi Arc 4 Himatsubushi. Last time we left off, Akasaka is making sort of a risky play of actually investigating the village alone. I mean, it comes with its perks and risks, or benefits and risks. Obviously, the benefits are without Oishi, people won't immediately be suspecting you, and and you might be able to go around more freely. Like, he's also said that he's interested in photography, so he can probably snap a few pictures, get some more information from the locals this way. Um, and the negatives are, I guess, if they do find out you're a top, you're probably screwed. Without Oishi backing you up, because Oishi's definitely a safety net. It seems that the villagers don't want to cause any trouble when he's around, so give and take. So we just started the infiltration though, and apparently we're meeting a guide, but before that we meet a little Rika. Look how adorable she is. Honestly, Rika's already an adorable character. I didn't even know it can get more than that. She also has a giant head. Maybe it's just in the scene. Again, not discriminating against big heads. I also have a really big head, so. But she's adorable. Sleepy Rika. So she's just woke up. We'll talk with Rika. Is she our tour guide? Is she just chilling there? Let's see what's happening. We'll actually get a real tour of Hinamizawa. Okay. That girl with an angelic smile, with a yawn wide enough you could see her molars, woke up all of a sudden. I didn't mean to peep, but locking eyes with a girl who had just woken up like this somehow made me feel like I was playing a prank on her. Well, she's probably used to pranks. Or, I mean, maybe not yet. She will be. I wasn't doing anything shady, but I became flustered. The girl spoke. No, cried out.
Me.
The meep. Okay, her head's back to normal. Can we get a spacebar check? Yeah, she's definitely looks tinier. Let me just adjust the volume on my headset. And let's go. Meep. Meep? Like that character on the show with the puppets? With the orange hair? The Muppets? I don't know if that's a Muppet reference. Don't know if that was a Japanese thing. I thought it was just one of those greetings kids do. So in order to prove I wasn't a suspicious person, I responded in kind.
Me.
Nice one.
Me.
Oh my.
Me.
That girl stared at me dubiously with a doll-like expression, cute but cold and hard to read. Good meeps. I appreciate it. Has anyone else ever tried to meep? I don't think so. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. There was, after all, an unfamiliar man right in front of her when she woke up, who responded with meep when she said the same. Suspicious. She definitely thought I was suspicious.
Me.
Me.
You're making this so weird, but I love it. I didn't expect any wholesomeness from this arc, to be honest, but this is pretty wholesome.
Mm.
We were both at a loss for words. No, the only one lost was me. The girl in front of me, as if inquiring about my motives, stared at me intently. In this silence, I felt like I was the one who had to say something first. Damn it, this girl is way better at interrogating somebody than Oishi.
怪しいものじゃないんだ。私は。
みぱ
ニバ
That was a good line, Akasaka.
みぱ
What what I could only have described as a toad expression suddenly blossomed into a smile, one that soon infected me. You might be familiar with the term angelic smile. To me, it was like that phrase was created just to describe the smile she gave me. The girl smiling while saying "Nipa" probably wanted me to return the favor in kind. That's right, this was a kid's form of communication. Having the other person emulate what you just did was a rudimentary form of mutual understanding. Oh, give me your best, Nipa. Akasaka, you are earning so many voice acting points from me. You know, you might not scream, but this is getting points in my book.
にニパ
It's a little whisper, but you tried. You even had the star at the end.
ニパ
It was a beautiful afternoon in the early summer. What was I doing?
ニパ
This is so weird. It's so weird. I love it. Wow, whatever. This was interesting in its own way. If making somebody happy with just a smile was the work of angels, then this girl was definitely one of them. I couldn't help but pray my own child, who was soon to be born, would grow up to be like this girl. That strangely gentle movement was finally brought to an end by the arrival of a car. That's probably our tour guide. An older person waved at me from the driver's seat, a dry smile plastered on their face.
どうもこんなぞ遅れて申し訳ないことです昨日お電話くださった観光の方ですかね
あ、はい。
お待たせして申し訳ねえいや野良でちょいと遅れましてねしたらとお乗りくださいな天気もまんた崩れそうだからちゃけちゃけご案内しますよ
天気。
ああここいらは崩れると早いよ
Sounds kind of
夕立になる
sketchy.
かもなそうなったらほんと写真さ撮るところじゃなくなるでしょほら乗って乗って
み
Aww. Bye, Rika. Turning around, the girl was standing right behind me with an intrigued expression. Her body language somehow reminded me of a stray cat that followed you around after you played with it a little. So charming.
あれリカちゃまじゃねえですかありがたやありがたや
A girl named Rika with an immaculate smile and an old man praising her while rubbing prayer beads in his hands. It was a rather mysterious sight to behold. So the girl turns her face at me, tilting her head a little in a cutesy manner. After seeing that, the elder introduces me as a tourist who came to sightsee Hinumizawa.
村を観光したい若者なのです
A youngin. It's a close-up. The girl, Rita-chan, said that with a smile as she clung onto my arm.
まあね。この村の自然がとても貴重だと聞いたんで、ぜひカメラに収めたいと思ったんだよ。私はこう見えても、とっても写真撮影が好きでね。
富竹2号なのです
Okay, so Tomotaki has been coming before Watanagashi. Okay, so this obviously confirms that this wasn't Tomotaki. That wasn't a real theory. I swear that was a meme. That was a meme. But, okay, so that's an interesting that Tomotaki was observed. If we assume that he's not just a photographer, which I do, he was coming before the curse murders were happening, which means if he was observing something, it's not the actual curse murders, it must be something else.
富竹？
牧野
Makino.
僕も一緒に行ってはいけませんですか
That's the name of the elder we're getting a name from.
そんなレイカちゃまが来ても面白いことなんか何もないですよ。
I like the Rika Chama. It adds
レカちゃま
it
は
adds
携
to
帯で
her.
マリア遊びでもしててくださいな。
It's kind of rude.
ね
A distinctly displeased expression creeped across Rika-chan's face. Being able to show one's emotions honestly on their face was a privilege young children had.
もしお差し支えなければこの子も連れて行ってあげてください。
When I said those helpful words, another smile spread across Rika-chan's face with another nipa as she clung to me again. Ah, not bad at all. I want this girl to call me Papa. I know you're not being weird. You're being actual wholesome, but it's just weird to read that out loud, alright? No. Father. Dad. Daddy. Okay, maybe you're being a little weird. What am I doing? Ever since I met this girl, I was completely off my game. Yeah, we're supposed to be infiltrating super secret. We're too relaxed. Just calm down.
勝てなあかん
Though
と。
maybe being relaxed is the key not to get caught.
レイカちゃまはダメだ言うても聞かんしな。知ったらんと己くだせ。ささ、レイカちゃまも。
The old man descended from the driver's seat and opened up the sliding door of the van which had Onidofuchi Alliance Town Council stenciled on the side. Rika-chan brushed me aside, dove into a seat, and began bouncing around right away. It seemed like she was thoroughly enjoying the bouncy springs.
あんれレイカちゃま。そんじゃお客人が座れねえですよ。やだ、こら、レイカちゃま。
Huh. Girls are nice. I wonder if my child will play around like this too. No, 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 no. It was written in the guide to raising a child that you shouldn't dote on them. Kids are kids if you don't raise them strictly without spoiling them.
ふかふかでバインバインでニパ
It's weird because the Rita we know, she is all cutesy like this, but it seems like it's almost sometimes sarcastic and stuff. But so far, this seems more wholesome. Though when she said Tomotaki Mark 2, I did think she was a little more sly. But so far, it's definitely, I mean, I guess it comes with the younger you are, more wholesomeness.
ニパ
I love it. Jesus. I'm definitely going to be a terrible father. This is definitely the wholesome. I mean, there might be more moments. If you see a tiny Satoko, I will be happy. But this is kind of great. It was decided that I would be a doting parent before my child was ever born.
さんじゃあお客さん、風景の綺麗そうなとこで適当にご案内しますよ。お昼は食べましたかいね。
ー。ええ、ホテルで軽食を。
そんですか。では参りましょうかね。
I'm sorry, it's like 11:30 and I smell something so good outside. I don't know what somebody's cooking, but it's making me so hungry. It smells kind of like potatoes.
南沢観光に出発なのですよ。
Yay!
はいなのです。
Yo, I knew it. Rita-chan, we're in sync right now.
と君はリカちゃんでいいのかい？
そうなのですよ。フルでリカと言いますです。もう繰り上がりの足し算とかもできますですよ。
How old would she be? She's like, what, 12 now? I don't have the timetable up that one of the commenters gave me. But let's say maybe she's like 5 to 7 years younger is my guesstimate, because I don't know if this is the year of the murder. It might be a year or two back. So she's like, what, 6, 7? I mean, that's pretty good. I'm terrible at math. Though I might have been alright in grade school, but high school math, actually killed me.
ああ、そうなの。それはすごいな。
指とかは折ってませんですよ。
What?
ちゃんと暗算でできますですよ。
No need to flex on me. The way she insisted upon that was just too cute. At some point, the nervousness I had about being alone in enemy territory had evaporated like it was never there at all. I had to at least be a little thankful that I met this girl.
じゃあ出発しましょうかいね。南沢大自然ウォッチング。
Yay! The old man stepped on the gas with a great deal of gusto. Let's go. Hey, it's the path where Rena chased us down. It's the bridge Satoko pushed us off. I don't remember this spot. It's someplace. I like it. This is the spot we meet with Mion and friends. It's Tomotaki and Tatano taught to us in Kakushi. I think. That's where at least where the Watanegashi River mattress thing is. The old man, who was apparently named Makino, gave him some respect. I mean, we'll probably not see him again. But was he the same Makino that was listed as the auditor of the Onidofuchi Defense Alliance? Showed me around places that were all breathtaking. Even though I wasn't really here for sightseeing, I couldn't help but be impressed. First of all, this was different from the simple scenery of a city. The scenery of a charming village like this, no matter how mundane it seemed to the villagers, had a tranquil appeal to it. At first, I was only releasing the shutter as part of my tourist act, but midway through, I found myself taking pictures of pure interest. See, this is a building we have not seen, I believe. Tourist traps had their own unique allure to them, but there is nothing like that here. It was just good old-fashioned, traditional buildings. I skipped it. I was especially captivated by the unspoiled nature of the place. If there wasn't that whole uproar over the dam, I'd want to bring Yuki with me here some other time. I wanted her to breathe in this fresh air, as well as show her this rejuvenating, verdant scenery. What's this?
こんなのが面白いのですか?
I mean, it's probably a big change of pace from the city.
赤坂は変な人なのです。
I did want to kind of see a traditional village in Japan, but we never got there. I mean, my dad lives in like a small city on like an off island in Japan, which is pretty small, but like in comparison to like where I live, it's actually like just the normal size of a city. So, but yeah, I think it'd be a good, cool vibe to tour around in something like that.
いや、こういう円筒状の郵便ポストなんて今はとても貴重だよ。どことなく漂うノスタルジックな雰囲気は渋いと思わないかな。
Everyone has their things they like. Mailboxes, I can respect. They're just old metalworking stuff.
ひなみ沢は楽しいですか?
ああ、楽しいよ。退院したらぜひ家内を連れてもう一度来たいよ。その時には生まれている子供も一緒にね。今は出産を控えて入院しているんだ。予定日がもうすぐでね。君みたいな可愛い女の子だといいんだけど。
お客さんはもうすぐおめでたですかいね。
Hey, they gave him the name tag. That's nice.
そんないけねえよ。奥さん放り出してこんなとこに遊びに来てちゃ。
I was momentarily at a loss for words. It was exactly how Makino said. There's no good reason for a man who is waiting for his wife to give birth to be playing around idly in this place. Did I slip up?
あー、まあひなみ沢への旅行は前々からの予定だったんで、妻の家族が付き添ってくれているから大丈夫だし。
そんなに前から予定してたんなら、確かね、間に合わんとかいね。
No, Akasaka. It's all rolling apart. Can we get a Rika save? Can we get a Nipa from the sidelines?
いや、そんだったら、こんな窮屈な思いさせんと、綺麗な観光バスで回れたね。
Makino, you're asking the questions we don't want. Can you just hit us with a straight fastball instead of all these change-ups? It didn't seem as if Makino was actually digging for anything. But if this conversation continued any longer, it would put some unexpected holes in my cover. I halted the conversation by pretending to take another picture. Good save. Go for the bunt. To the temple? Maybe? It was slightly before evening. The sun was still burning brightly, but a cool breeze had begun to mix itself into the air. It seemed my exploration of Hinamizawa with Rika-chan was just about done.
一番景色のいいところですか？
そんなリカちゃま、境内からの景色さを置いて、
Are you
あり
allowed?
ませんやね。
Isn't that your headquarters? Hearing that, Rika-chan smiled even more.
では赤坂を僕のお家へご招待なのです。
リカちゃんのお家って。
神社ですよ。古で神社。高台にありましてね。
Akasaka does know that about the three families and their involvement in the riot, so he should. I guess he just didn't notice because he was too hypnotized by her adorableness.
景色さ見られるんですよ。
古で神社。
The girl who called Furude Shrine was her home, Rika. If I remember correctly, her full name was Rika Furude. And Furude was, that's right, one of the three families. Even if the Sonozaki family is said to hold all the actual power, it was still one of the old houses that held some authority. No, more important than that right now was Furude Shrine. If I remember correctly, Oishi had told me. Within the grounds of Furude Shrine, there were offices of the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. See, this is good. I'm surprised they're letting us in. Also, just creeping in the back of my mind, what if Makino actually suspects Akasaka as an infiltrator, and they're really bringing him up to headquarters to, like, corner him there? That would be pretty bad. And since the land around Furude Shrine were private property, the police couldn't set foot there heedlessly. Furude Shrine, where even Oishi couldn't simply set foot into. The main base of operations for the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. I had been given the unexpected opportunity to enter there. I couldn't have asked for more.
楽しみです。
Don't shudder. Stutter, not shudder. Though don't shudder either. It's probably not good.
ぜひお願いします。
じゃあ、酒々参りましょうかね。
Let's go.
天気も少し怪しいですからな。
Little iffy. What if it rained so much we had to stay in Hinamizawa? They'd probably still kick us out, right? The sky had suddenly become overcast. I guess he wasn't just bluffing. It wouldn't be odd if it started raining soon. The cicadas, as if trying to finish their daily allotment of chirps before the evening, cried out even more fervently. Chapter break at 24 minutes. Let's go on. Even though I am a little sleepy, this is a little too short of an episode. Let's finish up our tour. The van stopped in the shrine's parking lot. Also parked there were numerous other vans with loudspeakers mounted on top of them to act as makeshift propaganda vehicles. On the side of each vehicle was scrawled, "The damn project must be demolished. Defend our homeland to the last. No Oyasho-sama's anger." Or a slogan with a similar kind. They gave the feeling that even without using the loudspeakers, there was enough to overwhelm any onlookers. Vertical banners were erected in various places. The contents of those banners were similar. They were all objections to the dam or crude insults toward the government. There were horizontal banners, placards, and so on and so forth. They proclaimed that without a doubt this was the headquarters of the Onidofuchi Defense Alliance. For Rika-chan, however, this hectic place was also her home.
着きましたのですよ。ただいまなのです。
Rika-chan crawled over my lap and exited the vehicle. Makino had noticed that I was looking at protest banners.
現在はダム反対運動の事務所も兼ねてましてね。こんな風景もあんたらには反安保闘争みてえで懐かしいでしょ。
Don't get the reference. Student movements against government policies, movements that bordered on terrorist activities, were at one time commonplace, if only in order to garner global attention. I mean, it probably did happen in Canada, but as a kid, I don't remember. Nor am I that interested in stuff like this. Students holding out in lecture halls, brawling with riot squads that charged in. It was an age where wasting one's youth like that was widely considered a road to glory. It was an age where one's youth, it was slightly before my time.
私は別に活動家ではありませんので、普通に学び、普通に卒業しました。国の政策にあのような暴力や立てこもりで対抗しようというのには、
Akasaka,
私は同意できません。
I agree about not being violent, but I don't think this is the place where you want to say that. Definitely not the place. I think you're sort of losing the ball here.
あんたそれはそれで立派な意見さお持ちだね。
政策に意見したかったら、同じ意見の
He's
政治家に投
double
票するか、
downing.
自ら政治の世界に飛び込み、正当な手続きを持って意見を主張するべきだと思
Akasaka,
っていま
can
す。
you not do that? This is not a time to flex your beliefs. Please.
それが民主政治の原点です。
Though again, I agree. Obviously, there are some flaws with this, but it's a good way, in my opinion.
それに暴力で挑戦するなどあってはならないと思います。
For a Yundin, you have some fine beliefs. I saw that feeling of respect reflected in Makino's gaze. At that moment, something tugged at my sleeve. It's a Rika.
赤坂が何を言っているのか全然わからないのですよ。
Rika-chan, feeling like she was the only one who didn't understand the conversation, had a look of displeasure on her face. I mean, I just realized we're not gonna see Satoko here because she is currently living with her parents, so unlucky, but it's alright. That expression was so charming, I had to keep myself from grinning like an idiot. It's often said that a father wants to spoil his daughter rotten. I think I understood that feeling very well.
ごめんね。リカちゃんには難しい話だったね。
Just a bit.
日本は平和の国だから、自分の言いたいことは平和的に訴えなきゃいけない。暴力で訴えてはいけないということさ。
No matter how much I explained, a girl who was just boasting about being able to carry digits over when adding things probably wouldn't understand. It probably wasn't something to talk about in front of Rika-chan anyway.
では赤坂、
It's serious face. She's not. The wholesomeness is gone right now.
僕たちの村はどうやったらダムに沈まなくなるのですか？
I take it back where she's not being sarcastic. I mean, I still think she's probably a bit more naturally wholesome, younger, but she's obviously in tune. Like I said before in theories, I did think she probably like watches the rituals and stuff, like the gutting ritual, so it's not too surprising. Even as a kid, it might be surprising for a kid to be in this position, but you know, it's serious business in a small town. Even if I regretted my careless words, it was too late now. Dude, that is a look. That is a serious look. I like it. Look at that stare. It's staring daggers. Here I was, at the main headquarters of an organization, telling them their way of doing things was elite. I mean, yes, you kind of just kept on going. Preaching that violence was not the answer. A complicated feeling had mixed itself with the respect in Makino's gaze. It was then I finally realized. It wasn't that simple. There wasn't a soul who would argue that what I was saying wasn't correct. But sometimes it just doesn't happen. I get it. Using violence to get one's way was something that everybody knew you shouldn't be proud of. However, right now, Hinamizawa was in a predicament that couldn't be overcome with peaceful means alone. Valid points. Honestly, yeah. I wasn't talking about that though when I was agreeing, just in the general idea of democracy itself. But I agree, it's not like they could have, if they didn't take all these extreme actions, there wouldn't be a Higurashi game because the town would have been flooded. However, yeah, I said that right. The legality of the Hinamizawa Dam project, through the efforts of various propaganda campaigns enacted by the Onidofuchi Defense Alliance, was being called into question. If they further strengthened their campaign, they might be able to suspend or change the construction plans. But that was, at most, just a possibility. If the government proceeded with construction as planned, it wouldn't be long before this place was at the bottom of a lake. If it wasn't for the unrestrained resistance of the residents of Hinamizawa, this place might have already been underwater.
僕たちはここでしか生きていけないのです。都会では生きていけないのです。
The words of this remarkably young girl were all too accurate, carrying with them streams of the hearts and minds of the residents of Hinamizawa. Of course, there's nothing I could say to respond to that. I could only respond to Makino and Rita-chan's heavy words with silence.
すみません。よそ者が気安く言えるような問題ではなかったですね。謝罪します。
Makino, unsure of how to reply for a while, could only laugh pointlessly.
お客人たちのようなよそに住んでる方々には関係ねえことですよ。ひなみ沢さん気に入ってくださったんなら、お客人のお友達みんなにもひなみ沢さん素晴らしいところだって宣伝してください。そういうのが何十年何百年と広がっていけば、この村さダム底に沈めるなんてふざけた計画もやがてはついえるんですかね。
He followed that with a smile that said, "Please don't think much of it." Makino letting me not worry that much really was a stroke of good fortune. Becoming infatuated with the idea of making friends with this little girl had made me completely forget my apprehension at being in enemy territory. Being reminded of this right before I was going to step foot into their headquarters might have been a good thing. If he had this exchange in the middle of their office, if there was a short-tempered youth in there, they might have come at me. Thinking of how extreme they were, in the worst case, my life could have been in danger. It seemed that I looked quite despondent at that moment, Martino, think he had said something wrong, became flustered, trying to think of a way to improve my mood.
本当に軽率なことを言いました。
Alright, it looks like our heads in the game. Let's not do a slip up. Let's just pilot this nice and get back safe.
本当にすみませんでした。
Don't push your boundaries.
ええ、そんなねお気にされないでください。
今日案内してもらった村のあちこちはどこもとても美しく素晴らしい場所ばかりでした。もう一度来たいと心底思わされました。そんな美しい村がダムの湖底に沈むことになれば必死の戦いになるのもわかります。
I had somehow managed to use my despondent look to change the topic in my favor. After a bit, Matino had returned to his usual high spirits. It seemed he believed I completely sympathized with his point of view.
そうそう、そんな話はこれくらいにしますよ。
Yeah, it kind of dampened the mood, huh? But that's what usually happens,
本
anyways.
当にとても
Actually, not
景色が
really.
いいところがあるんです。
I mean, typically in stories this happens, but in Hinamizawa, the wholesomeness just kind of rides to the end, so the sudden stop kind of hurts. Hurts me, not the story.
行きましょうですよ、赤坂。
Rika-chan, seeming happy to be free from all the boring and gloomy adult talk, bounded up the stone steps. There's no real need to run, but in order to catch up with her, I also darted up the steps. There were several tents belonging to the town council erected on the shrine grounds. Inside the tents were several folding tables and chairs with a number of the older town council members were livening things up with chit-chat. They weren't saying anything incendiary like the dam project must be destroyed. It was just some relaxed, idle chit-chat between local geezers. The normal sort of calming scenery. At the entrance of the shed that looked like a meeting place, there's a large sign erected with Onidafuchi Defense Alliance Headquarters written in bold brushstrokes. That was their base of operations. To be honest, it was a bit of a letdown. If you asked what I had been imagining, this was a bit embarrassing, but I'd half thought it would be something much more dramatic. I mean, to me, who lives in Canada, that building looks pretty cool. But I guess that's probably normal, especially in rural Japan. With barbed wire fences and barricades. My first impression of the place, though, I mean, you have to go up the shrine steps, probably. Surveillance by multiple people. And you have to get into Hinamizawa in the first place, so it's not like slight on security, I think. My first impression of the place, though, was completely different from that. It looked like a simple backwater town hall. It didn't look like anything other than exactly that. The old folks who were chatting had noticed Rika-chan's presence. Rika-chama. Rika-chama.
もう子供はお家に帰る時間だよ。
ここは僕のお家なのですよ。
The old folks guffawed, since she wasn't wrong. From that exchange, I could tell that this Rika Furude girl was loved by everybody. Oh,
牧野さん、その人
Kichiro. Is that the mayor? I forgot his first name.
電話をくれた観光の人は
We got a sprite for him, though. I mean, he looks pretty scrawny, but no offense. Trying to think of a compliment. Your shirt matches Rita's dress. So that means you're cute.
そんですよ。
There we go.
こちら村長さんに。
There we go. It is
南側の
Kimiyoshi.
キ村長さん。
So he does get his sprite. Alright. I wasn't really thinking of... Well, I thought of Kimiyoshi, but I didn't really think of his appearance that much, so... It's good to have an image to match with the name. He smiled brightly, but there's no mistaking he would be scary if he got angry. By the looks of things, this old man was the president of the Onidafuchi Defense Alliance, none other than Kichiro, Kimiyoshi himself.
ようこそひなみぞへ。
Look at that look. Don't look so smug, dude. You dead, or you died in watching
い
Adachi,
かが
okay?
でしたか？
But that's a cunning face. That's my compliment. He looks very cunning right now. A little smug too.
静かでゆっくりしたところでしょう。
ええ、今日一日美しい場所をいくつも堪能させていただきました。貴重な機会をお与えくださったことを感謝します。
へえ。今時の若い方なのに、また真摯な方だね。
Don't discriminate. Just because we're young, we have the brain of a 30-year-old.
うんうん。
喜一郎、赤坂に見晴らしのいいところを案内したいのですよ。
It's probably not the shed, but that's a pretty cool place. Thinking that the formalities between myself and the mayor had gone on for too long, Rika-chan butted into the conversation. For her to call the mayor by his first name, yeah, it's very direct, but again, their families are probably very close to each other. I thought it was a little strange, but none of the villagers seemed to mind. A girl of the Furude household, one of the three families, she was probably different than the average villager.
赤坂、こっちなのですよ。
Rika-chan tugged at my sleeve. Not resisting, I allowed myself to be pulled over, and waiting for me was a magnificent view. Ah.
すごい。
I don't know if this is the same, but this is the view Keiichi had during Watanadashi, or was it? It was either on Itachi or Watanadashi, where Keiichi was freaking out and digging up ground out of anger or fear. If it's fear, it's probably, I think it's on Itachi actually, not Watanadashi. But either way, why would he be doing this? I don't remember. I just remember the scene being dark instead of a sunset. It was an observation deck that loomed down on the village, or it might not have been the same thing, but it's the same shot, at least. They, knowing that this was the best view in the entire village, kept quiet as I stood there awestruck. I was holding a camera, but had completely forgotten to even glance through the viewfinder. This view, no matter what kind of film it was printed on, it wouldn't be able to show everything. If there was a way to explain it, it would only be what I would be able to put into words. It was just such a breathtaking, spectacular view that I struggled to find a comparison. For a while, I was left awestruck. I could only stand there and wonder. A cool breeze helped abate the heat rushing through my body. That comfortable sensation also left me speechless. Rika-chan, who had been holding onto my sleeve the entire time, spoke.
僕の一番のお気に入りの場所なのですよ。
As she said that, she showed me another adorable smile. That smile seemed very fleeting. If you asked why, that was because the view from her favorite spot would eventually be submerged under the deep green waters of the dam reservoir.
こんな村が湖底に沈むことになってるなんて信じられないよ。
I said quietly so that only Rika-chan could hear it. I regretted it as soon as I did, for those words were all too cruel. However, Rika-chan didn't let them cast a cloud on her expression. In fact, she replied with a smile.
沈みませんよ。ダム計画なんて必ずなくなっちゃいますのです。
It was just like a little girl to say something like that. There's no basis for her saying so we think. It was just her wish.
赤坂はこの村が沈んでしまうと思っていますか？
沈んでほしくなんかないよ。
I knew how important the dam was. I knew that it was necessary. I just didn't want to recognize the sacrifices that would be made. I agreed with the project in general, but couldn't agree with some of the details. But if it meant that this girl's beloved scenery wouldn't be taken away from her, I might be able to object to the dam. I might be able to ignore the interests of the nation, the development of Japan, all for the sake of one girl's smile. Really likes her, huh? I mean, it's not hard to imagine, but police officer, like, you just met her. Well, you met her. It's probably been like a couple hours, huh? I'm not really much of a humanist, but how sentimental of me.
沈みませんよ。ダムの計画はもうすぐなくなりますですから。
Her words weren't just hopes and dreams, but were seasoned with a hint of resolve, as if she was talking about an unchanging, predetermined outcome. As surely as the sun rising in the
も
east.
うすぐなくなる。
Wanting to ask her why she believed that, I turned around.
はい。なくなりますのですよ。
どうしてそう言い切れるんだい？
それはなのです。
She seemed to want to answer, but as though unable to find the right words, she swallowed back what she was about to say.
赤坂が何をしてもしなくても、ダム計画は今年で終わりになってしまうのです。もう決まっていることなのですよ。
That was a lie. If something like that had already been decided, then the Anitofuchi Defense Alliance would have no reason to continue existing. I mean, there was a thing where in Tatora Goroshi, where they said she was the incarnation of Oyashiro-sama. Maybe she can see the future, whatever, I don't know. We'll think about it later. It is very ominous, though. And it made sense from, obviously, Atasaka's point of view not to really believe it. From my point of view, it was like they were doing nothing more than throwing themselves into an endless battle. If they knew the dam project was cancelled, it would feel much more relaxed around here. This village, though, could hardly be called relaxed. There we go. You thought I wouldn't burp this episode. It happened. Unlucky. One day we will break the streak that I can celebrate. For evidence of that, I just had to remember how charged the atmosphere was at the checkpoint or at the bus stop. The villagers, with their misplaced resolves, were still fighting. And this girl, even knowing the villagers' grim resolve, had already declared their victory? The village... That wasn't a question, but I made it sound like a question. The villagers throwing themselves into this endless war, and this optimistic girl who said they had already won. That contrast was somehow strange.
どうしてそう思うんだい？何か確信があるなら私に教えてくれないかい？
Rika-chan stayed silent for a while, seemingly choosing what to say.
だって、
だって
Datte? She looked like she was lost on whether she should continue or not. As if she was troubled on whether it was okay for her to say it, that kind of expression.
決まっていることなのです。他に言いようがないのですよ。
決まっているって。
She's aware. She can see the future. She can see the script. That means it's not just... Wait, okay, going back to our script and stuff. Maybe it's not just the... Well, I was trying to say maybe it's not just the art script, but this is also an art, so this would also be scripted. Or it could be some... I don't know. Leave it for later. This isn't the time. It's too late to be talking about this weird meta stuff. It really is just like a little girl to say something like that. I couldn't believe it was actually true. She was only saying one. She was the only one saying such things with such confidence. My real mission that I had forgotten about during this fun-filled day resurfaced at the back of my mind. The kidnapping of the minister's grandson. Had the Onidofuchi Defense Alliance kidnapped the minister's grandson and had already succeeded in negotiating the cancellation of the dam project? Did Kimiyoshi actually already know that and was just plain dumb? Was that what this girl was really telling me?
赤坂
The girl called out my name suddenly.
なんだい
Ooh.
東京へ帰れ
Dun dun dun. Huh? It's the spooky music. I wasn't only surprised at that sudden command. Ever since I came to this village, I had never once mentioned I was from Tokyo. Well, based on my accent, she might have been able to guess where I was from. I mean, she's a little kid. That might be hard for her. What was I getting so worked up over? It was probably the sudden and complete change in her demeanor.
あなたはさっさと東京に帰った方がいい
That doesn't even sound like her.
でないとひどく後悔することになる
That doesn't even sound like Rika either. It sounds like a much, well, not even much older, but definitely a more mature voice. I don't want to say it, but you know who it sounds like. The girl had been holding my sleeve the entire time. She had been tugging at my sleeve since hurriedly dragging me over to show me this wonderful view. But this was the adorable Rita-chan who I spent the entire day with. There's no way she could have been replaced with a doppelganger when I wasn't looking. She had been holding onto my sleeve this entire time. But somehow this girl was someone other than Rita-chan. She looked like Rita-chan, but she wasn't. She was some girl I'd never met before. That girl had told me in an indifferent voice that I would eventually regret coming to this village from the bottom of my heart.
それがあまりにもみすぼらしくて昨日
Oops.
今のうちから警告してあげているのです
どうして私が後悔することになると
Yo.
いちいちうるさいな
Look at that shot. Let's not be lazy this time and actually make a thumbnail. I couldn't believe that I was hearing such cold words coming from Rita-chan's mouth. I just couldn't believe it. Was something impersonating her using ventriloquism or something? Thinking that, I wanted to take a look around, but the girl's gaze had me pinned down, making me unable to move.
あなたの親はあなたが赤信号の横断歩道の真ん中にいるときどうして危ないのかを全部説明し終えるまであなたの手を引っ張らないの引っ張るでしょ
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
まず歩道まで連れ戻してからなぜ危険なのかを解くでしょうつまりはそういうこと
That girl I spent time with, Rika Furude, would not speak like that. She would speak with a cuteness befitting her age, with brief childish remarks, expressing her emotions honestly. She definitely wouldn't speak with such pointed words.
警告はした勘違いしないでほしいのは私があなたを嫌いだからこういうことを言ってるわけじゃないってこと死んでもいい人に危険なんかを教える必要はないのだし
Okay.
君は誰だリカちゃんじゃない
Look at that smug face. As soon as I accused her of not being Rika-chan, she let out a strange, quiet giggle. It was a laugh not befitting of a child, befitting a child of her age. It was like she was possessed by something. Her change was just that, total and complete. Was Rita-chan being attacked by some terrifying phenomenon? That occult idea came to mind without any sort of hesitation. Rita-chan was acting strange. Somebody, help. Thinking that, I yelled that. I turned to where the mayor was. I immediately realized he was looking at us with a smile. That's right. To him, it looked like nothing more than me and Rita-chan fooling around. He didn't notice there was something terrifying happening to her.
赤坂の怖がり
Alright. I don't know what to do. I was gonna say give her a little punch, but that's like the worst idea ever. You're keeping your cool, Atasata. I respect that. The girl. I mean, I wouldn't punch her. I don't know. When you see somebody being that smud, though, it's just a natural reaction, right? In terms of a story, anyways. The girl had obviously grasped that I was afraid. Noticing that and calling me a coward, she laughed again. That cackling girl approached me in a strange manner, while still laughing, lost her balance and fell flat on her face. What? Rita-chan fell down. If it was just a while before, I would have extended a hand to help her up without hesitation. But now, extending a hand to this ominous girl, who looked like Rita-chan but wasn't, required a bit more courage than I had at the moment.
Me.
Meep. The girl cried out thus. She then stormed upright and dusted herself off. Afterwards, she looked around restlessly as a blank expression crept across her face. You've got to be kidding me. Was she making fun of me? That way of acting. It was as though, after being possessed by something, she had lost her memories of what happened.
冗談だろリカじゃ
Me.
I don't know if Rita-chan had heard me or not. She just cried out like that, as if questioning herself.
お客人リカちゃまもお茶が入りましたよ塩大福もあるからにぜひ食ってきんさいな
An old lady wearing a smock was waving energetically from the entrance of the office. Hearing that there were snacks, Rita-chan's expression changed. Yay.
なのです
Yo. We're in sync again. A carefree smile. That was a familiar smile, the one that belonged to the embodiment of my ideal daughter. Any hint of the creepy girl that was just there spouting sinister words had vanished.
ほらリカちゃま手を洗ってきんさいねバッチおててにゃ食わせるまんじゅうありんせんね
I just noticed this. Oh no, no. I was like, what is this white spot on the temple? Is that like paint? But that's just probably the reflection from the sun. Though it's really white.
ちゃんと洗いますですよみ
Meep. Rita-chan responded with vigor, running off to the washing station that was along the side of the office. She stopped halfway, turning around to call me.
早く来ないから僕は赤坂の分までおまんじゅうが食べられてホクホクなのです
うん
お手手を洗わない人はおまんじゅうが食べられないのですよ
No matter how you looked at it, that was Rita-chan. Those words and the way she said them, no matter how you heard them, they were definitely Rita-chan's.
ほんでお客人
You know what? Let's stop here. We might be close to a chapter base / chapter end, but we're hitting an hour. We're pushing our luck. Let's take a break here. This was a good session. Ending was pretty creepy, but I kind of do have an unfair advantage compared to some of the completely blind people because I have read Umineko, so a bunch of ideas are just floating to my mind, especially about, oh man, this is like the first time where reading Umineko first has actually created some theory problem. Well, not problems, but some unfair advantages. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll let it marinate for a bit, think about it, and we'll wrap up our tour next time. But this was a good episode. We got some very wholesome stuff, which was unexpected but welcomed. We got some spoopy stuff with Rika being, I guess that might be her creepy mode, quote unquote creepy mode. Oh man, no, too many ideas. Whatever. We'll come back to it. Hopefully you enjoyed this. This was a good session. A little longer than usual, just a little treat, even though I am pretty tired. So I'm a bit surprised I actually got this far, but yep, thank you for watching. See you in a bit. My voice is dying.